Rodrigo Duterte, newly elected Philippine president, is promising major changes for his country's 102 million people, including himself. His tough campaign for president led some to call him the Donald Trump of the Philippines. Like Trump, Duterte sometimes made crude statements during his campaign for his nation's top elected office. 1 week after he won the election, Duterte met with reporters in his hometown of Davao, where he was mayor for 22 years. Duterte, who takes office June 30th, talked about what he would do as president. He suggested his own behavior would change. He promised a return of the death penalty, allowing police to shoot people involved with organized crime, a ban on smoking and drinking in public areas, and punishing parents who allow children out after 10 p.m. The government would also crack down on speeding and drunken driving and reduce noise at night, such as loud music, so people can sleep, Duterte said. And he promised to fight corruption. Duterte also seemed to say he would not be the same person who, as a candidate, cursed and made jokes some considered tasteless. I have to get used to being the top honcho of the Philippines, he said. Patricio Abanales, director of the Asia Studies program at the University of Hawaii, said many compare Duterte to Trump, but he disagrees. Unlike Trump, a successful businessman who is running for president as an outsider, Duterte has been an elected government official, mayor, for 22 years, Abanales said. His promise to reduce crime appealed to voters, Abanales said. As mayor, he put in place tough penalties for crime, but Human Rights Watch said he went too far, using death squads to kill more than 1,000 people. During his meeting with reporters this week, Duterte talked about hanging people for crimes and letting the public watch. While running for president, Duterte angered some officials in Australia, the United States, and Singapore. Australian officials criticized him after he told a crude joke about a lay minister from Australia who was held hostage, raped, and then had her throat slashed in 1989. Duterte said, "I was angry because she was raped. That's one thing. But she was so beautiful. The mayor should have been first. What a waste." Duterte later apologized. About Singapore, Duterte became angry when Singapore's government said reports that its leaders supported him were not true. Duterte reacted by saying he'd like to burn Singapore's flag. Duterte also questioned what role the United States played in the 2002 bombing at a Davao hotel. The bombing was linked to an American man who escaped. Duterte questioned if the United States government helped the man escape. Last year, he said, the bombing made him feel a hatred for the United States. Abanales of the University of Hawaii said relations between Duterte and the United States probably will be good if the U.S. explains what it knows about the bombing. Donald Emerson is director of Stanford University's Southeast Asia program. As is the case with Trump, Emerson said, "It is hard to say what kind of foreign policy Duterte will put together." One can argue that the rhetoric in the American presidential campaign also fits the caveat, which is, it is not what you say when you are trying to be elected, but what you end up saying and doing when you are in office, Emerson said. Duterte met this week with the Chinese ambassador to the Philippines. He said, "The meeting is a good sign relations between his country and China will improve." Philippine relations with China have been tense over China's claims in the South China Sea. The dispute over one of the world's most important waterways also involves Vietnam, Taiwan, Malaysia, and Brunei. Some in the United States worry the Philippines might negotiate to give China control over the Scarborough Shoal in return for more investment in the Philippines. Emerson said, "It is not at all clear what position Duterte will take." But he said it is clear the Philippines and its new president will have more to say because in 2017, the Philippines becomes chair of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. In his meeting with reporters this week, Duterte said he plans to be a different kind of president. He said he would use his own pickup truck rather than the limousine or big car provided the president. "This is not royalty. I'm your president. I would just consider me equal to you in terms of rights and responsibilities,"